Okay, so here we are on the point source drip worksheet. When you arrive on this worksheet from your plant list, you'll notice that all of the plants are in zone 1, all of the plants have a count of 1, and all of the plants have a present diameter of 1. So we have the plant list up top, and then as you scroll down, you'll start seeing the drip recommendations that are in place based on the specifications that are above, based on there being one of each plant and a present diameter of 1 foot. So here's the plant list as if all of the plants were in zone 1, and then the drip recommendations and based on what we have so far, and the zone runtimes based on what we have so far. All right. So then the first thing that we need to do when we arrive on this page is we need to separate the plants out into separate zones according to their water use. So we can see that we can group the lows and the very lows together and the moderates together on their own zone. So I'll bring up the plan for this project, and this is what we're working from. And so what I did was, based on the water uses of the plants, I went ahead and I color-coded all of the plants based on these water uses that showed up for each of the plants. And I can see, looking at this plan, that the plants fall very nicely into separate hydrozones based on their water use. Somebody did a good job of designing these plants, doing this planting plan. So we have the greens are moderates over here in one area, and then all the rest is blue or low water use plants. So then what I figure I will do, based on the numbers of plants that are low and the numbers that are moderate, is I will separate out into zone 2 these moderate water use plants. And the way I'll do that, let me just close this off again. The way I'll do that is I will go to zones. Now let's see, I've got the Arctostaphylos, the Buddleia, the Carex, and the Gora that need to go into zone 2. So I click on zones, and the first one was Arctostaphylos. So I choose zone 2 and click add to zone. So now I see I've got the Arctostaphylos down here in zone 2. It is still in zone 1, however, so we do want to take it out of zone 1. The reason it stays there is because oftentimes we have the same kind of plant or the same species of plant in more than one zone. So I'm going to go ahead and take this plant out of zone 1 now. So I choose the Arctostaphylos again, and I choose zone 1, and I say remove from zone. So now the Arctostaphylos is in zone 2 only and not zone 1. So I'll do the same process with the other 3 plants. The Buddleia needs to go into zone 2 first. Buddleia, zone 2, add to zone. And then I need to take it out of zone 1. Buddleia, zone 1, remove from zone. Okay. And then the Carex. Carex, add to zone 2, and the same plant, remove it from zone 1. Okay, good. Just one more plant is still in zone 1, and that's the Gora. So I'll go get the Gora, and I will add it to zone 2, and now I need to take it out of zone 1. Gora, remove from zone 1. Okay, so now I've got a good configuration here. I have all of the low water use plants are in one zone, and all of the moderate plants are in another zone by themselves. So now I can look at the drip recommendations of this and make sure that my hydraulics are okay. So zone 1 is all the low and very low water use plants, and it's only a total of 6 gallons per hour. So what I need to do is I need to go up top here and put in the counts and the sizes of all of these plants now. That's something that I haven't done yet. And I do need to put in the exposure for each of these zones and the soil type. Let's have a look at this plan again. The north arrow is down here, so this is north over here. So the exposure for this zone 2 would be part sun. So I'm going to go ahead and say, whoops, I opened the wrong one. Exposure. Now the default is full sun. So zone 2 needs to be in part sun. Change exposure. And then all these low water use plants, they're in full sun. So they're going to be in zone 1. All right, so then going back, I need to do the soil type for each of the zones. And I see on my plan that our soil type is sandy loam. So I click on soil type, and I want to enter sandy loam for each of the zones. So I did zone 1. Now let's do zone 2, sandy loam. Okay, so we're good. Now what we need to do is put in the counts and the sizes of the plants. So I've got the Achillea, I have 13 plants. And you'll notice when I clicked on this that this recalculate button turned red, bright red. That means that once I'm finished in entering all of these guys, I need to click the recalculate button to commit everything to the database. So I'm going to go with each of these guys, and I'm going to say how many plants there are. And actually, you don't have to sit through this. I'll go ahead and end this video and then pick it back up when I'm done entering all of these guys, and I'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, so here we are with all of the plants counts entered in. The next thing I need to do is enter in the present diameter of each plant that's going in. Now I happen to know that all of these are coming in as 1 gallon plants, except for the Agonis is coming in as a 15 gallon plant, Agonis here, and then the Buddleias are coming in as 5 gallon plants. Everything else is 1 gallon. So I'll go ahead and change that now. So let's see, Agonis. Oh, see, when I clicked that, the recalculate button turned red. That means I have to click the recalculate button when I'm finished with this. So the 15 gallon plant, I'm going to call this a 3-foot diameter. And then the Buddleias are coming in as 5 gallon, so I'll make this a 2-foot diameter, and I click recalculate. So now I've got everything in here. I did enter in the soil type of sandy loam for each of these zones, and I put in the exposure as well. The exposure for zone 2 here was part sun, and then the rest is full sun. And full sun is the default, so you only have to change the exposure if it's anything other than full sun. All right, so I'm going to click recalculate just to be sure here, and now I've got all my hydraulics worked out for these 2 zones. And I look here, I see that zone 1 has 62 gallons per hour. It has 1 emitter on each of the 1 gallon plants and 3 emitters on the Agonis. And let's see, the minimum pipe size that feeds this zone is 1/2-inch pipe leading from the valve, so that's fine. And then here are the zone run times for each month of the year. And now it should be noted that the zone run times are based on the plants being established and not being new. So you will need to adjust this schedule when the plants go in until they're established. Okay, So once we've got everything in and we're pretty happy with there, oh, let's look at zone 2 first. There's zone 2. It's only got 12 gallons an hour going for it right now, so we really need to be careful with that. That's only about, let's see, that's a fit. That's only, well, that's too low of a flow. Yeah. So we would have to be very careful with how we handle the flow for this zone. We may want to increase the emitters by double or something like that, or use a very low flow valve. Okay, so there we go. So now once we're happy with everything that we've put in here, what we can do is click on Drip Report. And this will show us what the PDF would look like when we download the PDF. And this is just to check our work. The drip report should have the plant list for each zone and the drip recommendations. And then there is a little, this is the cover sheet that explains what's going on here. Zone 1, there's our plant list, there are recommendations and our run times. And then zone 2, plant list, recommendations, and run times. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and when I hover over, let's see, when I hover over point source, I can go back to the drip worksheet. Now when I click on PDF, I can actually download the PDF for this project. And let's go ahead and open this. And here is our PDF report that we would then give to the client or the installer. And we've got the plant list on one page for zone 1. Then we have the recommendations and the run times. The plant list for zone 2. And then the drip recommendations and run times. Okay, and then on the last page we have a little disclaimer on the PDF report. Okay, so that's good for now. This is it for the point source worksheet. Oh, actually I should show you the drip resources. There are tons of resources over here for you to check out, and all kinds of information and resources. So that's a really good thing to check out. It teaches also. And then we have our contact sheet as well for you guys to give us feedback. Yay! And then I'll go back. Okay, so that truly is it for now, and we'll see you in the next video, which is the line source drip worksheet. Okay, bye-bye.